Blessings, welcome forward to Reasons right here at the Share Life. I'm your host Talaku, the Great Out, in the presence of my co-host, High Priest Tafari. Perfect love. Perfect love. No, brethren and sister, it's good to be back. It's a rainy day, and as usual, we are outside of the gardens, Hope Gardens in Kingston, Jamaica. And as we say, the garden has very beautiful surroundings. We're just in the parking lot, really. So it's like one of the times you can come by and check out. Nice for like rest, relaxation, get some work done. And we have people within the gazebo with us, so there'll be a little background noise. Apart from the rain, when it quiets down as well too. So it's what we call in Jamaica our Heroes Weekend, right? I mean, it's so American, like a Heroes Weekend, but we call it Heritage Week, and on Monday we got our Heroes Day, where we honor. There's a problem with the pronunciation of H in Jamaica. So that's why Jamaicans, when we're saying H words, we have an extra sound to it, because it's gonna sound like an A if we don't say honor. So we honor our heroes, right? Because it's double H, so you have to see it. So we honor our heroes, and we usually hand out, I guess, titles, accolades, right, to people who have done heroic work, like maybe during the course of a year, or people who have done work over the years, right? So this is like a beautiful time if you want to remember where you're coming from and remember where you're going. So that being said, at this present moment in time, our current offering will be on spells in foods. And we're going to look at it from as broad a perspective as we possibly can. As the idea of putting spells in foods enter into like social media space. In Jamaica right now, TikTok is ablaze with accusations of unsanitary, unclean, ungodly practices as it relates to the selling of foods on the sidewalk. Now, this is new, like situations like this, but this is the age of cell phone cameras, and so people are capturing things on their camera. As we were talking about off air before that, unbeknownst to us, people can actually be recording you and you do not know, because this is the age of this high information overdrive we're in. So anyway, a particular individual was caught doing some weird stuff in an establishment on the side of the road that was supposed to be about basically providing a food service, right, for people. And people got caught up in the most unsanitary practices. And I can speak of an experience that I've been through. When I just got saved, me and my princess at the time, we were in Ocho Rios. We were staying at Maxim's Beach, which is basically just outside Ocho Rios. It's close to St. Mary. It's a very, very nice part of Jamaica. Anyway, so I went up to Ocho Rios to get like lunch, right? And I remember there was these lines of restaurants and food stalls right along the side of the road. And something kept telling me, oh, not this one, not this one, not this one. So I kept being drawn to a place, and I was passing. I wasn't vegan, right? So it's not like I'm looking for a vegan shop. I just want to make that clear. So I was passing chicken joints, ital shops, fish joints, just anything that was selling stuff. And yes, crab, but I don't eat crab, right? I don't eat unclean stuff. But anyway, all this stuff along the side of the road, till I ended up way at the bottom of the line of food shops at this little yellow shop, and all they were selling that I wanted to eat was cabbage with vegetables and rice, and that's all I ordered, because they said that's all they had. And I was like, okay, and I bought it. Now my fiance, well, she's a praying woman. She was the one that prayed that I got saved. So I took the food back and I started eating the food, and I said, honey, this is the best food I've ever eaten. I said this was the best vegetable and rice I'd ever eaten. But she hadn't eaten hers as yet. And she said, that's a strong thing for you to say. So she said, okay, let me taste it. And the moment she tasted it, she started vomiting. And she said, Jerome, bring up everything, get everything out. Just stop and get it out. That's a curse. It's full of spells. So where did you get this? I said, I have to carry and show you. And she said, how could you pass every single restaurant and end up at the last shop at the end of the road? So there are spells in the food, people. We just want to make this clear. This channel is about truth. There are spells in the majority of foods that you buy, not just on the side of the road, but in those restaurants. I worked in a restaurant for 5 years of my life. I managed one, and I can tell you, I always tell my fiance, do not argue with people who work in restaurants. And currently, our dream is to own our own restaurants. I'm telling you from a standpoint of somebody who knows what it can be like working in restaurants or dealing with food, I priest Tafari. So, food goes into your temple. My mother taught me a very long time ago, but I broke some of those rules, I got to admit. To be peculiar about food. We eat from no one. We eat from no one. I have a hard time warming up to restaurants, though I worked in a restaurant because my stepfather, like I said, we grew up at King's House, so he worked within the food industry, so I end up working in the food industry, but I don't really eat out. It's not like a practice or a habit I try to maintain. Telling this to fiancés and family members is hard because you and I know it. If you're like regular minded, KFC is the spot to go. Yet still, no one knows what are the 22 spices that are in KFC. And it's not called Kentucky Fried Chicken anymore because it's not chicken that they're feeding the people. It's plasma grown meat. Next thing too, most of these so-called restaurants that are Chinese in origin, though they might say Japanese, they're still Chinese. They have sigil magic over all of the doors. We do not know the cooking practices that they maintain to produce the meals. So I'm saying that the amount of spells for sales, for the yield, for taste, for customer support, there's a lot of spells and incantation going into food establishments in Jamaica and around the world. I priest Tafari. What are your takes on these matters?
Yes, brother, great all. Ramon, based on my knowledge and my history and past, knowing the knowledge that I know of these magical stuff, you know, obia, voodoo, white magic, black magic, all sort of stuff. They all have something in common with food. Every tradition of magical acts, them have some magic ritual with food. Always. That's why the witch always have the pot. A stir her pot. And I add in holy pot stuff. You know, dead stuff. Piece of cat. You know. A drop of eye, you know. Some of our potions. You know, where you see on cartoon and TV.
The witch's brew.
Yeah man, them have them evil pot mixing and brewing. So these witches and warlocks and obia man, obia woman, them know of these stuff. Cause them do it daily. So them tell them clients how to perform these magical acts. Cause magic, you know. So them basically teach people magic.
Oh.
It's not just say, make me get something from this man or what. He might teach you how to perform a ritual. And you perform it, you know, you might get an item from him, you know. As them will say in the media, you get the salt from the man.
Yes.
You know? And you pinch it in the beer. And you drink it. You know? And as them speculate on the media, them add it, the people add them feces into the pots, them mix as a ritual. Sometimes them urine, sometimes them menstruals, sometimes a fingernail, sometimes piece of hair. Them add some sort of attachment in the pot.
Yes.
So you are always coming back and love it. You love them pot, always coming back every day. Coming back to the pot, them love it. Sweet. Even if the pot tastes bad, it tastes sweet to your mouth.
It's a spell.
Yeah, man. Yeah, sorry.
You know, as time get darker in terms of human acts, thought processes and behaviors, it's not that people have not done these things in the past. What is apparent is how many people are attempting these things for the first time in the present. How they have graduated into thinking that these things are what is necessary for creation of wealth, for the generation of monetary gain. So, High Priest, you're talking about the fact that these spells that they're working, these are magic rituals that involve some unsanitary practices, because as we have spoken about previously on this channel, that these unsanitary practices attracts the demonic forces. The demonic forces are the ones who carry out the spiritual attachments, because the demonic forces are the ones who carry out the hidden activities beyond sight. So when a person has done this magic ritual, they are invoking the spirit of the demon. I remember a demon has the ability to possess many people. And so when people are under possession now, you go to certain places, you do certain things, you gather according to your compunction. So the attachment is generated through the spirit of Lucifer and his kingdom. So why am I saying it that way? Let us make this very clear. A lot of people in the current age does not think that hard work, having a creative, constructive mind, body and soul directed towards a purpose is the way to achieve material success. They no longer believe this is the formula or modus operandi. They believe magic, obia, science, voodoo, sorcery, witchcraft, whatever name you call it by, sacrificing a couple of goats, busting off the head of a couple of chickens, you sprinkle a little this, you sprinkle a little that, you tap a little behind your ears, you put it in your clothes, in your handbag, in your wallet, in your purse. The oils, the potions, these things are evil rituals that invoke the kingdom of darkness. It's not a pretty thought, it's not a pretty talk, it's what it actually is. That is what, hallelujah, this is what they do. So while you're there thinking, oh, this is just how I level up, this is just how I build up, what you're doing is putting your family at risk, putting your generations at risk, causing generational sins and curses, while in the immediate you might be thinking this material gain is good, but later on when people find out after the spells have been broken and things have been dispelled, the repercussions might be detrimental or life-threatening, because you cannot deceive people, harm people just to gain, when material, just like everything in this world, is temporary. High Priest, you always quote the Bible passage that says that we cannot store up riches on earth where moth can eat it. We must store up riches in heaven. This becomes most poignant in this instant, that they would do so much to make people sick, destroy people's heritage, destroy people's destiny, just so that they can drive around in expensive, so-called expensive vehicles, to live in so-called opulent neighborhoods, to hold their heads over others who are laboring day and night for a way through this reality, in this reality. They would do things like that just to be unable to carry it no further than their deathbed. It can go no further than the sour taste in their mouth. It can go no further than the blindness in their eyes. It can go no further than the crippling lack of mobility in their bodies. Sometimes they die before dying in these mansions plagued with the blackbirds, plagued with curses, several vehicles but can't get behind the steering wheel of not even one to enjoy. What curses we draw on ourselves just to be in the moment, to appear important to others while we are hurting others, literally. And in the end result, hurting ourselves as well. High priest.
Yes, Brother Greater. As you say, these evil forces come into your life. I see them when you eat at a place. When you dream, you start eating your dream. You don't usually eat in your dream, you know. You find yourself start eating the dream every night. That is the entryway the demon come in, through your dream. Many people don't know this.
Spirit of gluttony.
Demons enter through your dreams, especially if you do actions you're not supposed to do, like eating in the dream, you know, swimming. If you find yourself doing these actions, stop immediately. Do not eat in your dream. This is how you get disease in your stomach. Your stomach start to have problems and doctor cannot fix it.
Exactly.
It all starts when you go to the liquor shop, you know. You buy a liquor soup. Tutu's dreaming every night about food and eating always. Visited by all dead family relatives. Giving you food, giving you drinks, and you're drinking it up.
Happened to me.
That is how them enter into your life with the destruction, setback. All manner of evil come over your life what never used to be there before. Your blessings, them take it away. Because you're eating at the dream. You're going to eat at this Obiaman. This Obiaman tell the person to do this and them do it and you eat at them shop. And at this your life get turned upside down. Everything start go bad. So find yourself eating in the dream, just stop immediately and pray to God for help.
Absolutely. Because you know, the spirit of gluttony, which is like an intoxicating, enticing spirit, I would say provoke a lot of people to seek comfort through food. So some of the times you're feeling very happy when you can get a meal. And so for some people who lack self-control, because remember there's an entryway to the spirit, you know, and gluttony is the entryway. And gluttony comes through, again, a form of food lusting, right? Being unable to have self-control. Yes, High Priest. So food gluttony is called by a lot of lack of self-control, because there's this compunction for a lot of people to eat and somehow not be satisfied. Now there's two ways to look at eating and not being satisfied. Number one, how much nutrients are in the meals that you are consuming. Because you have to have nutrients, what we call live enzymatic actions, live proteins within the meals that you consume to actually get energy from your food. So if you're actually getting energy from your food, that means that your body will be satisfied. But if you're consuming artificial foods, right, that means that the body is not going to get nutrients from the food. So one, the food is nutrients low. Two, the food is purposefully filled with spells. So it might be that it's not nutrient low, but it is spell ridden, meaning they'll have the best carrots, the best turnips, the best everything, the freshest everything, but it is under a particular incantation. Something goes in there that should not be in there. And so if you have eaten meals like that, it will awake within you the spirit of gluttony, which is a unsatisfied spirit, meaning you will eat, your belly will be this big. Let's use a Jamaican term. You would have consumed a lot of food, but you are yet not satisfied, because the spirit causes a craving, right? So because the spirit is calling a craving, you are not really being satisfied. You're like, you're eating, but that craving isn't going away. It's increasing. So you're like, what's going on here, right? Many people put on a lot of weight because of that particular manifestation of the spell. So if you find that you're eating foods that are low in nutrients, right, it is not a spell. You are just not choosing healthy, right? Or you're not preparing healthy meals. So that's a big difference, you know. But foods that are under spells, whether or not it's the best nutrients, whether or not it's the nicest cut of sirloin steak, there is an unclean element to it, and it causes acid reflux, drooling in the night. You wake up, your bed is wet because you cannot digest the food that you have in the stomach, right? There's a lot of run-on effects in stomach ulcers, right? And a lot of congestive conditions start because of this kind of spell that comes through unclean food. So you have to pray, not just over the meal, but over the whole condition of your mentality that's going to cause you to be led by the Holy Spirit to a place that the food is clean. Because you can't be just sure that anywhere the food will be clean just because it smells good or tastes good. Or you can say, well, I'll satisfy the nutrient value that it is filled with good nutrients, right? But if a curse is on it, it doesn't matter. So number one, we must avoid nutrient-low meals just as a habit of having good eating habits. On a spiritual scale, we should be discerning about what we put in our body. That means that even if you're not so highly awakened, you should have a function of keeping clean things in your temple. That means that if you have fed yourself this way, right? If you have fed yourself this way, the moment something enters your body that is not good for you, you're gonna either regurgitate it, you're gonna vomit it up, or you're gonna get rid of it out of your body. Because your body, if your body is clean, if your temple is clean, then it's not going to be so easy. It's not going to be so easy for your temple to accept something unclean. It's going to reject it. So I would say, have healthy habits, take care of yourself, pray over your meals, have a spirit of discernment about where you eat, and not just have a uncontrollable need to just nyam, as we say in Jamaica, and nyam down the whole place, but it might cost you your life. I preach Tafari.
Yes, brother, great call. Man, and sometimes we need to do a little annual worm out. Sometimes we go places, we buy them food, and we pick up whole heap of bacteria and worms. Because you know what bacteria multiply fast. And worms there are enough things, even all vegetable and the meat and the fish. You'll have some terrible worms in a fish. So sometimes we need to just worm out. You know, because me know of papaya seed. It's a good worm out tool. Like if you can just make a little juice, a smoothie, just blend up a couple of the seed in it. Not too much. You know what, how deep on the papaya seed. Just a little couple pinch of it. Put it in a one nice smoothie. Because papaya seed, it tastes a little spicy. I like it, you know, because I like spicy stuff. It has this little spicy stuff to it. But you can just make a nice smoothie, mix it up in it, drink it. Worms don't like it. So the worms are going to get flushed out. Because these worms, you know, that in our system, it a desire you eat certain foods. So it a let go certain gases. That's why people get headache, you know, when they're hungry and them thing there. The worm them produce a whole heap of gas in the system and make you feel hungry and you desire a certain food. So when you desire certain foods, sometimes these worms transmit for them desire to you, you know. And I tell you, say, you know, so you need some fish. Because that's how the worm get the most nutrients from.
Exactly.
When you eat the fish.
Exactly.
So them want the fish. So sometimes we need to worm out and free ourselves from most of these worms. Because some worms good, you know. We need worms for the balance. But sometimes them too much. And I make you desire things and I crave things. What you not crave. And the worm them crave it. So we need to deworm, man. Deworm with children. Sometimes them depend too much snacks, you know? Worm them out, man. And them now go desire so much little sweet up all the time.
Because the truth is, it is a form of addiction. Because they use sugars and salts as a form of bio-addiction. Because salt and sugar, or salt and sweets, affect moods, just like bitter, biotoxin. And remember what the old adage about medicine says? Bitter to the mouth, but what? Sweet to the belly. That is the acronym, that is the moniker for medicine. What is the moniker for disease and all the putrid stuff? What do we say? Sweet to the mouth. And what do we say? Bitter to the belly. Because it is actually a bioaddictive substance. Salt can be, sweet can be, and all the variations. Because when we do the research on the neurology of desire and taste, what parts of the brain fires up during certain satiation, we realize that sugar creates a high, certain things create a rush in the body, and as such, this rush and biotoxin creates an addictive high. So why did I say that? I'm saying that to add it to what you're saying, that the biotoxins creating this addictive high creates a craving. And so our forms of craving is a lustful spirit. And a lustful spirit is actually a desire that is toxic to the body, or even to the mind, but craving is the biology desiring something beyond its need. It's a crave. It's like people that say there is a want and there is a need, right? But there is the difference between a want and a need is that a need satiates the entire being and is substantiated by the fact that you need the fuel. Want is desire, optional, and as such, a craving is a bio-desire, and as we'd say, a biohazard, because it supersedes or circumvents the willpower, self-control. So now you crave sugar, you crave these salty things, you crave these fatty things. That's the next thing that they use. They crave the unsaturated fats, they crave the salts, they crave the oils, right? And so these clogs up the pores and lead to the kind of degeneration in what we talk about in the stomach, reducing of the lining in the stomach walls. So absorption of minerals become more difficult. So we have bloating or inflammation in the lower intestine. And then we have some people go through the process of having constipation, being unable to pass, you know. So the lower intestines are always on fire, you know, so to speak. So eating habits, consumption habits is very important. It should be aligned with your faith. It should be aligned with the Spirit of God. It should be aligned with truth. It should be aligned with understanding, number one, right? And the next thing is to have the spirit of discernment, so as not to willfully or willingly take in the food that is filled with spells, the food that is filled with incantation. And those food, and the Spirit has shown me something to remind people that the cartoons are an illustration of what spells did in food, right? And I just illustrate that memory. I used to watch the cartoons when I was a kid, right? You notice when the witch was doing their brew, or the so-called warlock was doing their brew, and they were stirring up the pot and everything. Remember that you saw that the scent. Remember the scent? They showed the scent cloud. Didn't they show the scent cloud? And the scent cloud was going across the screen and wasn't going across like it was a sentient being. Wasn't it going like it was alive? Wasn't it tickling the noses of the people and trying to like do this to them when it doing this? Right? So my mother again taught me, don't smell people pot. Do not smell people pot, because what I recognized was, because of the culture we grew up in, we knew that spirits use scents to lure people. So as little children we would say, Mama, you know, some I pass around, let's say Mass Caleb corner, and I smell super cook. She said, stop smell people pot. Because nobody no live around there so. At 40 years ago, house did they around there so. Nobody lives there. What are you smelling? So the spirit uses the scent as entrancing. And so why am I saying that? You ever notice your pastor cook shop? Because we're going to say it, nobody can tie with tongue. The Lord will serve. And we're not the TikTok fanatics. We're going to speak the truth. You can't tie your tongue. You ever notice you're passing some restaurants, some cook shops, and a piece of scent of the food lick you yet? It hits you so much. It literally stops you in your track. And you say, I want some of that. What I'm saying to you, I'm not thinking for you. What I'm saying to you is that you should be careful. You should ask your spirit, was that the spirit of a spell? Why is the food coming all the way across a parking lot? You didn't pull up beside the pot. You didn't pull up beside the kitchen. So why is the scent traveling all the way 80 yards, 100 yards into your nostrils, into your spirit? So intoxicating. And you lose self-control. You just had something. Did you forget? You actually just ate. That's called a craving. It is a biospell, a biotoxin. That's a spirit. High Priest Tafari.
Yes, brother, great all. Because you mentioned the smell of the food. KFC, man. That smell, you know, man, is like none other. Them alone have that scent. Or just draw you in, you just want it, you just desire it. If you never desire it before, when you pass and smell that, you say, you know, say, KFC, you want to. I saw them, I saw the smell. That's why the parking lot full up. The drive-thru full up. The line them full up. It a draw everybody. And the price so high, but them a find the money same way, you know. I down to the little poorest man on the roadside I beg. A KFC him go buy with the money why him beg. When he could have buy 2 pounds of rice and 3 tin of mackerel with the same money and have food for the whole week. But he must spend this bag of money on this quick satisfaction, this pleasure food that, you know. It smells so good and you taste it, it tastes so good. You have to wonder if spells depend that for you. Because it is like none other. You're not going to pass the next place and you're going to smell that smell. Only KFC alone smell like that. And it's very inviting. Yes, I.
Enticing and entrancing. Those are words that are referring to being under a spell. Being enticed is a verb, right? It means that something has to literally be active to entice you. You are not just enticed by an invocation. No, you're enticed by something, right? So that's lowering spirits do that, right? They're enticing you through scent. Just like how if they're trying to deceive you with a perfect body, that's a physical eyes. We're talking about food now. So food has 2 components, which is smell and taste. So we already discussed the taste and we're doing an overlay so people can have a pretty good idea what we're saying without prejudice. And we know there's fear in all things, but also there's clarity. The next thing goes to taste. We did a little about the taste when I said that I went to that shop and I said it was the best tasting food. So yeah, that's the next thing too. There's some people that says, where I went to this place, brother, and I tell you something. I don't know, we're going to use one of the unclean meats them. Because like I say, I'm not afraid. I say, yo, I'm not saying myself. Boy, brother, I got this jerk pork stand. I don't know where Mac put in a jerk pork, you know. I don't know where Jack find and Mac find and hog there. But I tell you, it's the best piece of jerk hog. The best piece of jerk pork me have a yam. The same, Mr. Brother, the taste, and not me myself, by the way. Yes, I don't eat jerk pork anyway, but the essence of hearing people speak about the piece of jerk pork where they meet, oh, them say them go certain place, the pork leathery and fatty and oily, but up your side lean, them mouth of water and a jewel. The way them are truth, it's like somebody like them no want done true. And we're talking about pork, which is an unclean meat. And then we are taught this way, are some people now they are the TikTok generation now, with people that look like myself, they come and they do the food channels now, and they promote gluttony in the spirit. Because I said to you, the first channels I watched on YouTube was the Chinese channel, because the food channels, right? Before I spent a short time and I moved on. But now Jamaicans have started food channels now. And so there are people that look like us eating the unclean meats now, talking about you know, they need to get certain types of protein in their body. But I'm saying the amount of spells that is on pork, just in its natural state, it's unclean naturally. Now imagine the people them that add them actual extra spicing to it. That makes it smell all the way across the gully. We already talked about the smell. Now we are talking about the taste. The taste is so legendary. You want to carry it on the plane with you go to America. You have a baby mother up there and she don't come down here and say, yo, you know, so I have a smuggle some of that jerk pork up on the plane. Because the things that people tell me. You understand me? Me and my mother smuggle beef patty go up there too. Yeah, I do have to smuggle beef patty go for it. You know what your mind, brethren? Anyway, leave that alone. You have smuggle jerk pork and try to go for it. What is it about this pork? Nobody else can cook like that. Nobody else, nothing else. You've never gone to a place on earth. Makes you wonder, what is in that makes it taste like that? Makes you wonder. Before we wrap up this one, High Priest Tafari, as we're talking about the dangers of consuming spells in food, not just on the sidewalk, on the roadside, but in the restaurants and also the manufactured products as well too. Because you see some of those signs, Lord, some of you say this, you see those manufactured signs on the logo because they don't want to target the everyday lay people. Make I think it's just the average people that are doing these things because they want to be rich. No, that's how some of them got rich. Yeah, the established ones, that's how they got rich. They spelled us all. That's how they got rich. These things that they put on the package, right? And they tell you that it's whatever, it has 14, 15 letters in it. And it has a lot of, I don't even want to start pronouncing because I don't want to play intellectual. So all these chemicals with these complex names that are on the product listing of ingredients, and then later you come to find out that these are some of the most dangerous toxic chemicals from World War II. You get to find out that they're putting some of the most lethal substances known to humans in the human body. They put them under titles like Red 40 this, Red 35, Niacin this, and all of the other names that I tell you that are quadruple syllables that I dare not attempt because I'm not trying to impress no one with those terminologies that are toxic and chemical. And as I told you, on the scientific scale, the people in the Food and Drug Administration and those who approve food for consumption on a public scale, they talk about parts per million of the poisons within these food. And they are ruled safe because the parts per million are deemed to be below the harmful threshold. But over years of consuming this, children suffer from the tooth decay. I've suffered from that, from all the sweets, right? And all of the other degenerative things that is caused by having these foreign substances in the body. Diabetes is one of the end results. And some of the clogging in our pores cause the short circuitry. That means people are getting strokes earlier. You understand me? Shortness of breath. You understand me? A lot of congestive diseases also ensue, like asthma and certain things because of improper hygiene and also poor diet, right? And even the word diet is very sketchy, but poor consumption practices is a better terminology. So you should be very careful of what you put into your temple. Your body is a temple of the living God, so you must be careful. Check, go on the net, do your research to find out what those strange terminologies mean. Not because they talk about that it's healthy, it doesn't mean it's healthy. We find out that what they're making proteins out of is worms, right? So a lot of these protein powders are made from maggots, right? So we should be very careful again to research how these things are being made on a mass scale, and not just because it comes into a package with a title and a label on it, that means that it is safe. Because if it was safe, there wouldn't be recalls of products and services across the so-called first world all the time. All the time they are recalling products and services. All the time there are class action lawsuits being brought against manufacturers and these major food companies, right? So it's not like we're talking French, Spanish, German or Dutch here to be unintelligible. We're actually talking the truth that many people have suffered under many versions of the food spells that are cast upon us. High Priest Tafari.
Yes, Brother Greatall. And you have to bear in mind that these people have money them want to make. They are in a business, them have a business, and money them want to make. Them now look for feed couple belly on the road. and smile and have a good time. Them a look to make some money on any scale, a business, whether upon the man on the roadside or sell him crab, to the big old franchise owner of KFC, and money, them a study. Them not pray for your best interest. Them a pray for them best interest. And in order to get for them best interest, sometimes them have to get your best interest in mind too. But at them a look out for the end of the day. So sometimes now we have to just learn how to just cook ourselves. We have to just buy the crab straight from the sea, just live, it come out live from the sea, you see it, the man just catch it. You know, growing in one man backyard with whole heap of nastiness. You know? If for that you want to, because I know it's shell food, you know? But get your food, learn how to cook it. That may I say. If you want to get a spectacular meal, go look on some YouTube video and go learn how to make some food, man. All you do is chop up onion, scallion, little pimento, little thyme, and put anything in that and you get a spectacular meal. You see me? A spectacular soup, drop little yam, little cocoa, little dash in, you know, sweet potato. Make a nice soup, man. You don't need to buy no soup from the roadside where them people have money them a look for make. Them not look for have the healthiest corner on the shop. And the most health practice and safe practice. Them not look for that, and money them a look for make. Even if roach are growing on them thing, and money them a look for make. Them just box out the roach and laugh about it. But the money them a make, them a say the fire and the smoke run them, man. When me light up them gone, man. But by night come back, it infested. And them a rub up all of your food against them surface there. Where the roach crawl upon whole night. So you have to be careful, man. Cook up your own meal, wash your thing them in a vinegar, clean off your items where you get from the market. Clean. Yes, I.
And if you are gonna prepare a meal with the intent for it to come out to be a beautiful meal, well, just keep a very clean heart and spirit. I think that's the best flavoring to add to any pot, is a clean heart. And that is my #1 ingredient for someone who works in food, has worked in food, yeah. And the majority of the women that I've dated at some point or another have also worked in food, right? So hospitality is part of my career and my business. So I'm not just talking from a theoretical point of view. And so I believe in my standards of, you know, function and practice, because literally, you cannot make people unhealthy with your desires to be wealthy. And that's where we're going to leave it. So we pray for the people who have partaken in all of these spelled foods, unclean foods, from unsanitary, unrighteous, irreligious, and evil vendors, owners, business people within the food industry. We pray that the Spirit of the Most High, through the power of the Ruach HaKodesh, cleanse your spirit, mind, body, in wholeness, yeah? To get past this fear, that you will cleanse your thoughts and your thinking and your craving from doing these things again, to have self-control, to overcome gluttony and the food lust. So until next time, this has been Taloku, the Great Out, Reasonings right here at the Trail Life, yeah? In the presence of my magnificent co-host, High Priest Tafari, reminding you to like, share, and subscribe to the Trail Life Experience right here on YouTube. Subscribe to Liberty Farm Jamaica and Trail Life Television Network on all of the channels under Selah Media. Support the Wizio mini healing therapy sessions with your studio, where you can access, you know, information through a question, through a query with your story, and get back an answer through a 3-minute video or a 7-minute audio, or book an online therapy session with your story. The packages are available, or book through our retreats and come forward and spend some time with High Priest Tafari and myself. If you want to support the ministry business, well, there is teespring.com for merchandise, blazers, hats, caps, t-shirts, and if you want to donate to the ministry cause, well, there is the Patreon and the PayPal. Perfect love. Perfect love.